Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of ACMi News. I'm Isabel Litterst, back here at the ACMi studio for the first time since March. I'm the only one here in the studio. It's a little bit lonely, but I have to thank our two-man crew, socially distanced of course, for making it all happen. Tonight, some worried about how Arlington's beloved farmers market would fare in a pandemic. The answer? Better than ever. And Arlington celebrates its status as one of the greenest communities in the state. These stories and more up next.
From McLennan Park to Spy Pond, from Poets Corner to the Mystic River, we have Arlington covered. We're your neighbors, a friend you can turn to. This is ACMi News.
Arlington's Farmers Market, a Wednesday afternoon staple for years, has been a real bright spot in the local economy throughout the summer. ACMi News correspondent Anim Osmani explains Arlington's fresh take on the annual market.
One of the longest running markets in the area continues to run, even through a pandemic.
Every year we start the second Wednesday in June and we go till the last Wednesday in October.
Says Patsy Kramer, manager of the Arlington Farmers Market. This spring there was some concern that the market would not happen for the first time in its 23-year history. But the market was able to survive the spring crisis and opened as scheduled this summer, following special guidelines given by the state and the local Board of Health.
We looked at the guidelines that the state had generated, and we also met with staff from the Board of Health, and we developed the setup that we have now. And the setup is that the market is cordoned off, and people can only come in one entrance, and we maintain a limited number of people in the market at any one time.
Other guidelines include wearing a face mask at all times and not touching the products. On a busy day, lines to get into the market extend and weave throughout the parking lot. Within the market, there are lines for each vendor where social distancing is practiced. Another additional feature in response to the new guidelines is the way customers select their products. Vendor and farmer Alan Niceway explains how the process is different for both him and the customers.
Normally we would be behind the tables, the people would pick their stuff, we would just weigh it and get paid. Now they can't touch it, we run a line down here, they have to stay away from the produce. We're the only ones that can touch it. So I have to go back, and when a person comes in, I'll pick what they want all the way down here, and we'll get down here, and Christine will check them out. And then I'll have to go back up there for the next person.
The process is similar for other vendors as well. Although it may be slower than usual, more people have lined up for the market than ever before. According to Patsy Kramer, an average of 700 to 800 people show up each week throughout the course of the day. Many customers like the idea of shopping outside as it makes them feel safer.
I'm here because of COVID-19. It prevents me from going to the big markets where I think there's a bigger chance of transmission at the larger markets. So we go less frequently to the large markets and more frequently here. Being outside, I think it's a little bit safer.
Although restrictions and face masks are the key differences on how businesses operate, there's one difference that may not be a bad thing after all.
There's been a huge increase in business, actually, for me personally, because people are not going out to restaurants. They are staying away from them and trying to eat locally, fresh, and in their own kitchens. And so we've seen an increase tremendously this year in business.
So how did the market fare against the pandemic overall?
I think it's done really well, absolutely. And I'm very pleased that the community has continued to support the market. I was a little worried at the beginning of the season with us having to limit the number of people at any one time, whether the farmers would make a good day's pay during their time here. And they really have. So they're happy, the customers are happy, and I'm happy.
The Arlington Farmers Market takes place every Wednesday at the Russell Commons Municipal Lot from 2 o'clock to 6:30 p.m. If you ever plan on attending, please adhere to the special COVID-19 guidelines as posted online at farmersmarketarlington.org. For ACMi News, I'm Anim Osmani.
Thanks, Anim. Arlington continues to roll with the punches as COVID-19 challenges traditional annual events. This year, Arlington's Walk for Affordable Housing was transformed into a parade on wheels. Here's Maxim Isaac to tell us more.
Hey there. Welcome to 252 Mass Ave. This is one of the properties that Housing Corporation of Arlington owns, and today would have marked the 19th anniversary for the Walk for Affordable Housing, but because of COVID, it turned into a parade on wheels.
If you were on Mass Ave on Saturday and heard loud upbeat music and wondered what's going on, the Housing Corporation of Arlington was hosting their annual fundraiser to help raise money to support their staff and the organization. Along with the music and the still walker, participants got the chance to take a ride around town. Executive Director Pamela Hallett explains the key to navigating the event.
They have a map to follow to see all of our buildings that are either in construction or rented up. And we have 27 buildings. So it'll be about a 3-mile parade through town.
Many Arlingtonians are familiar with their annual Walk for Affordable Housing, but because of safety guidelines this year, Hallett and her team came together and created a socially distanced alternative.
We thought it'd be kind of interesting to allow our supporters and donors to see those construction sites in case they had not gone by to see, because they're really making significant progress. So it sort of came together, staff talking, board talking, it became a teamwork effort, and this is what we came up with.
ACA is constructing a 48-unit project that will have 2 buildings on Park Avenue and 1 building on Broadway. 16 of the units will be set aside for extremely low income, those who earn up to 30% of the Arlington's median income, and 32 units for households that earn up to 60% of the median income. 5 of the extremely low income units will go to the Somerville Homeless Coalition. In addition to these construction sites, HCA is currently renting a number of properties such as the Capitol Square Apartments, the Kimball Farmer House, the First Pierce, the Mass Avenue Preservation Project, and 20 Westminster. One tenant is in love with her apartment and even impressed her family.
I love living here. It's the nicest apartment I've ever had in my whole life, and people come over and go, wow. My kids go, we never grew up in a place like this, Ma.
Hallett shares the challenge the housing market is dealing with during the pandemic.
We have a lot of tenants that just don't have any income, so we've had to give rental support to our own tenants, which is fairly unusual, as well as many people in Arlington. Typically in a year, we give away about $26,000 to $30,000 in a year. We raise about $30,000. This year, we've raised $160,000. We've already given away just under $100,000, and it's only 6 months in. So we don't know what to look for going forward. It's a really serious problem for our tenants, and therefore for us if they can't pay rent.
Given the times, it's hard to know what will happen in the future, but some who showed up to the event were delighted about the parade and the cause.
We got such a great day for the parade. The weather is perfect. The Hot Tamale Brass Band has been a blast. So I think we couldn't have gotten a much better day for it.
Affordable housing is really important because it's sort of like one antidote to gentrification. And so it's really important that we have affordable housing in all of our neighborhoods.
Would you like to live in one of these apartments this summer? Well, all you have to do is go on housingcorparlington.org and fill out an application. And then in sometime in February or March, the lottery would take place. And don't forget, if you want to make a donation, you can also do it on the website. For ACMi News, I'm Maxim Isaac.
Another hallmark of the fall calendar in town is the rollout of Arlington Recreation Department classes and programs. ACMi's In-Young Kim spoke with those in charge about what will be different this time around.
Arlington Recreation Department started its fall and winter program registration on September 14. Locations, fees, and number of the programs have been changed due to the COVID-19. However, various interesting programs still available for toddler, youth, and adults. Residents can register sports programs such as ice skating, skiing, snowboarding, soccer, and basketball for their children and themselves as well. General information about payment, cancellation, and refund policies written on the brochure and the website. The Director of Recreation Department, Joseph Connolly, is here with more information.
Sure. No, thank you so much for having me in and asking me these questions today about Arlington Recreation programming. So obviously it's different. I mean, everything really we've been doing since March has been different. I think what you're going to see, although we try to offer as much as possible, less is more. So we're trying to concentrate on the programs that we feel we could most effectively provide safely to the public. Really, instead of just offering hundreds and hundreds of programs.
Since it's been different from last season, I asked how the recreation department keeps the public safety.
Pretty much any program that we've offered since the beginning of the summer, we have reviewed those programs with the Board of Health and with state guidelines and making sure that we are taking all proper safety precautions that they would certainly recommend. So they've been helping us review our programs every step of the way.
Are there any offerings this season that you'd particularly like to highlight?
There's going to be a lot of changes, but one of the biggest changes is our public skating. So our public skating is going to be pre-registration only, where people have to register for their particular public skating time slot. And we're only going to allow 25 skaters on the ice at one time. The only thing I would just highlight is that please understand that things are going to change. I mean, I think it's just really asking for everyone's patience as we all try to work through this together.
I also met the program supervisor, Zachary Violette, and asked about the highlights in this season's recreation programs.
Traditionally, we offer the Kids Care after-school program. With the current school schedule, we will not be doing that. However, we will be putting out information in the coming days about a remote learning center, which we plan to start in November. In addition, we're also offering some virtual classes currently, fitness, and looking to add some more virtual classes as we move into the fall and winter.
The Recreation Department will inform residents of any changes and cancellation of the programs through email. For more information, visit their website. For ACMi News, I'm Minyoung Kim.
In this week's update with Town Manager Adam Chapdelaine, he had some good news to share about new funding headed our way.
So we really have two sources of money that we've been able to offer to people who are in need. One has been through Housing and Urban Development and CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant Program. So there was an initial application round that allowed for people to apply for both rental assistance as well as small business owners to apply for assistance. And we did our first round, awarded a pretty significant amount of money to both renters as well as small businesses. We're going to be opening up a second round with remaining funds. We also got good news last week that we're getting an additional $320,000 from the federal government to supplement the already existing funds they gave us. So if you're in need in the community, please come on to the arlingtonma.gov, go to the website to be able to access the application for those funds because we want to disperse those funds. We want to keep people on stable footing. We also have the COVID-19 Relief Fund, which has been really, it shows on one side incredible generosity on the people of Arlington contributing to the fund. And on the other side, it demonstrates that we do have, the fact that people are applying for it demonstrates the need. So there's still funds available there as well. You can also go on to arlingtonma.gov, find the application for that if you need assistance. I'm fearful of when the evictions moratorium comes to an end of what that's going to mean for a lot of folks. I'm still worried about, even with the great work that Arlington Eats is doing and FoodLink is doing about food insecurity in the community. We have resources. We're trying to make them available. Not to sound like a Game of Thrones fan that I am, but winter is coming. I think there's hard times ahead, and we want to make sure we're taking care of everybody as best possible.
Adam was also excited to share the news that Arlington has received yet another grant from the Massachusetts Department of Energy Resources. This $100,000 grant is the 9th that Arlington has been awarded from the department in the last 10 years. Next, Anim Osmani sits down with Energy Manager Ken Pruitt to talk about this latest accomplishment and Arlington's efforts to go green.
Mr. Ken Pruitt, thank you for joining me on ACMi News today.
My pleasure, Anim. Glad to be here.
You recently announced that Arlington received a $100,000 grant from the Massachusetts Department of Energy, and it is called a Green Communities Grant. Is that correct?
That's right.
Can you go into more what that grant is?
Sure. So the Department of Energy Resources, or DOER, has a Green Communities division. And that division gives out grants, competitive grants, to communities that have achieved Green Communities status. And you have to do a number of things to be considered and designated a green community. And they're around both energy efficiency and renewable energy, and certain commitments, including to reduce the town's energy use by at least 20% over 5 years. And Arlington did achieve that green community status in 2010.
So what has the town done in order to achieve consistent green status?
Well, there's a number of things that you have to do and that we do. These grants that we apply for each year are for a series of primarily energy efficiency projects, but you have to report to the Green Communities Division every year and answer a long list of questions and provide data, proving that you continue to do the right thing. We have to also show that we're consistently reducing energy, and so we track data each year and produce a report for the Green Communities program, indicating all electricity use and all natural gas use, all heating oil, and all diesel and unleaded vehicle fuel usage, and the associated greenhouse gas emissions from all of those energy sources for all town government use. This is not including residents or businesses. This is just the schools and town hall, the DPW, police department, fire department, that type of thing.
Over the past 10 years, how has the grant money been used? Aside from what this grant is going to be used for, it was already indicated what this grant is going to be used for. So over the past 8 grants, what have we been doing with that funding?
Yeah, we've done a wide variety of things. So this year's grant is for LED retrofits of older, inefficient fluorescent lighting with new, highly efficient, high quality LED lighting, which cuts energy use by more than half in all lighting fixtures. And this is just a continuation of many other lighting retrofits that we've done in almost all town buildings. We have a ways to go, but we've done many of these lighting retrofits and they have a great return on investment. We converted all the town's street lighting to LEDs, which saves, that one measure alone is saving the town about $100,000 a year in electricity costs. And so in addition to that, we've done number of retro commissioning projects. That's where you go into a building and examine every piece of your heating and cooling system to make sure everything's working well and that valves aren't frozen open or closed, that your temperature settings are actually being achieved. And just by retro commissioning an older building, you can improve, it's been demonstrated you can improve energy efficiency by 20%. So we've also purchased some electric vehicles for the town and electric vehicle charging stations, for the town fleet.
So there's a lot of return on investment on all these projects that we've been doing, but also there's a lot of environmental progress, I would assume, with this as well, because of all these changes that we're making.
No, that's absolutely correct. It's a double benefit. You save money on your utility costs. You also save money on maintenance because LED lights, for example, last more than twice as long as fluorescent lights, and so you're sending your maintenance crews out a lot less often to fix things, which saves money. And then as an additional benefit, you're emitting a lot less carbon pollution into the atmosphere, which contributes to climate change.
Well, those are some great endeavors you have in mind, and it appears to me that the town will keep up the good work and continue to make this environmental progression. Now, to wrap this up, do you have any closing remarks you'd like to make, or is there a question that I might have missed out that you were dying to talk about by any chance?
Not really. I guess the one thing I would mention is that in addition to these green communities and building energy efficiency projects that I work on. The town does also have a committee called the Clean Energy Future Committee that was charged in 2018 by the Select Board with guiding the town of Arlington to net zero greenhouse gas emissions by the year 2050. And so the Clean Energy Future Committee is currently working on a plan, a net zero plan to achieve that goal, which we hope to have finished by the end of this year. And so, at present, there are about 28 measures, 28 greenhouse gas reduction measures proposed in the plan. A town survey has already gone out. We had almost 700 responses, but there will be other opportunities for public input on the net zero plan, and I encourage people to participate. And Arlington is one of a fairly small number of communities that have made a commitment to be net zero by 2050, and I think Arlingtonians should be proud of that. And we look forward to working over the coming years and actually implementing that plan and achieving the goal.
And finally, the acting head of ACMi News, James Milan, has a brief message for you.
The newscast you're watching, as well as virtually everything else we do here at ACMi News, is the direct result of people donating their time, their energy, and their interest to this community news program. Whether it's our eager interns or our engaged citizen journalists or our volunteer news crew, we depend on people like you to help us keep Arlington residents informed and connected to each other. We are not professional journalists, but we do strive to offer the very best news programming we can. We will make mistakes, but we will learn from those and we will get better. And we're counting on you to help us with that. If you see something that you think we've done wrong or you would like us to cover something, let us know, kindly please, by writing us at news@acmi.tv. We will take it seriously. That's a promise. Remember, ACMi is your community television station, and we are 100% committed to serving you as best we can. Please, help us do just that.
That's all for this week, Arlington. For ACMi News, I'm Isabel Litterst. We'll see you next week.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ACMi News. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll find us at youtube.com/ACMi News. If you have any news tips for us or wish to become a citizen journalist, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by ACMI Studio A at 85 Park Avenue.